best way to predict the future is to create it. And that's a quote by Peter Drucker. Time is precious, time is money, and this is a time for Money Talk on Atlantic Television Network. Good day, viewers, and welcome to a fresh episode of ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network right here in the city of Port Harcourt. This is a network's medium of bringing the happenings in the economic sector of the society to our discerning viewers. This program is aimed at bringing to the doorstep of viewers the business, financial and economic activities from all strata of society. Its delivery is accentuated through the various stock exchanges across the world, news about government economic activities, private sector business activities, links to the experts' opinions, stakeholders' analysis, and correspondence reports. Headlines. NNPC Chevron completes assets conversion. Court remands Monarch. U.S. blocks Nigerian's fraud attempt, imposes $50,000 fine. Uncertainty weighs on stocks. So you can be rest assured of being informed accurately of financial activities around the world. I am your host, Wendy Aguma. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll reel out the details. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Now let's go into market reports, local and international business news for today. Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, Chevron Nigeria Limited, have completed the conversion of 5 joint venture assets in compliance with the Petroleum Industry Act of 2021. The Chief Upstream Investment Officer at NNPC, Bala Wunti, said the asset conversion oil production, with the two companies targeting 165,000 barrels of oil per day by the end of 2024, while the importance of Chevron's operational approach in maintaining network stability and ensuring a steady supply of gas to the domestic market. This transition followed a shift from the petroleum profit tax regime to the more investor-friendly PIA terms, while in a statement released by NNPC's Chief Corporate Communications Officer, Olufemi Sonoye, the company said both partners signed the necessary documents, adding that the agreement converted 5 oil mining leases into 4 petroleum prospective licenses and 26 petroleum mining leases. This conversion represents a key milestone in increasing domestic gas supply and expanding Nigeria's footprint in the global market. Well, according to PIA provisions, all existing oil prospecting licenses at OML transition into PPLs and PMLs upon aspiration, as well as the option to voluntarily convert under the PIA terms. NNPC's Group CEO Melekiari NNPC's Group CEO Melekiari praised Chevron for its long-term partnership and reassured Chevron of NNPC's commitment to fostering the partnership, aiming to create mutual value and strengthen Nigeria's role in both domestic and export gas markets. Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission says it has facilitated a contribution of about 200 million naira for the development of the oil and gas host communities. The Chief Executive, Benga Komolafe, who disclosed this when inaugurating the body of neutrals of the Alternative Dispute Resolution Center of the Commission in Lagos, said the sum of 60 local currency, while $100 million was facilitated in foreign currency, and expressed regret that the funds had been unutilized due to various disputes and litigations. He said the Commission considered the creation of an alternative dispute resolution center for amicable settlement instead of going through the rigor and long process of the courts, adding that one of the challenges in Nigeria upstream is the fact that there is a kind of hostility between the host communities and the oil companies, while limiting the nation's optimization of its abundant endowment in oil and gas reserves. He said the Commission prioritized the development of host community development regulation as one of the key proprietary regulators put in place in recognition of the fact that having a conducive operating environment is key to achieving optimized daily production, and adding that in the design of the implementation of the host community trust fund, the disbursement and the decision on the expenditure of the fund lies clearly within the trustees of the host communities, which they freely elected. Komolafe recognized the fact that conflict is a permanent issue, but the resolution of it often goes through the mainstream judicial process, and that takes time and even occasions cost, to the extent that the host communities are not able to disburse the fund, and stress that the Commission would meet with the judiciary to ensure that the decisions of the body of neutrals have judicial force. Parents Teachers Association and the Nigerian Union of Teachers have expressed fear over a possible increase in the rate of school dropout in the country due to the rising cost of bus fares across the country. They also warned that teachers might miss classes on days when they are unable to afford the increased transportation costs, and Lagos State primary and secondary schools were among the first to resume for the 2024-2025 session. Schools in Lagos State has gone on a long vacation, including the 2023-2024 session on July 19th, 2024, while others wrapped up on July 26, 2024 at the time of the July break. At the time of the July break, a litre of fuel was priced at 750 naira, but it now sells for 900 to 1,200 naira, and the development has caused a sharp increase in transportation costs across the country. Both private and commercial transport operators have expressed frustration over the rising fares, while private schools across the country have also increased the cost of school bus services. National Chairman of the PTA, Alhaji Haruna Danjuma, expressed concern that the rising transportation costs would lead to more student dropouts and stressed the hardship faced by parents, while calling on the government at all levels to take urgent action to support parents, ensuring that their children can continue attending school. Similarly, the Secretary General of the NUT, Dr. Mike Eke-Ene, expressed concern that teachers would struggle to attend school regularly due to their meager salaries. Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company is protesting Phoenix Steel Mills Limited's decision to dump it and adopt the eligible customer status. Eligible electricity customers are those permitted to buy power directly from electricity generation licensees instead of the distribution companies. Our correspondents learned that Phoenix Steel Mills left the Ibadan Disco this year and was granted permission to buy electricity directly from a generation company by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Dissatisfied, the IBEDC petitioned the NERC, stating that the steel company had left its distribution network to become an eligible customer without fulfilling all due processes. The DISCO told the regulator that it erred in granting the eligibility status to Phoenix Steel, as it did not provide due notice of opting out of the network to be connected directly to energy source from the GENCO. According to a statement on the NERC website, the two parties appeared before its panel recently. The regulator confirmed that it granted Phoenix Steel Mills eligible customer status this year. Nigerian Communications Commission has declared the introduction of a device management system aimed at bolstering security and protecting consumers in the country's mobile device market. He said the DMS will serve as a comprehensive central equipment identity register, creating a unified database for tracking and monitoring mobile devices across all network operators in Nigeria, while the new regulation outlined in the Type Approved Business Rule 2024 aims to prevent phone theft, curb the use of counterfeit devices, and ensure compliance with established standards. He also said all mobile network operators are required to connect to the DMS and mirror network-related policies configured by the NTC, ensuring a uniform approach to device regulation, and the move is expected to significantly improve the security and integrity of Nigerians' communication networks, protecting consumers and promoting a safer mobile ecosystem. A device registration fee was also introduced by the NCC for the NCC DMS, separate from existing type approval fees, and the fee will be mandatory for all registered devices. The Commission's objective, first announced in 2021, is to enhance transparency, accountability, and national security in the telecommunications sector, while ensuring the safe and efficient utilization of Nigerians' communication infrastructure, as to also curtail the counterfeit mobile phone market, discourage mobile phone theft, enhance national security, protect consumer interests, as well as increase revenue generation for the government and reduce the rate of kidnapping. Nigeria's telecom sector week shut down as about 800 workers from the Private Telecommunications and Communication Senior Staff Association have embarked on strike, threatening to cripple services nationwide. The union, largely contract staff, warned of massive disruption to telecom operations if its demands were not met, as this would have millions of subscribers to face a potential communication blackout. The strike began on Monday, and the union's demand include, among other things, reinstatement of some of its sacked workers, recognition of the union improved working conditions, and remittance of membership dues, adding that the strike has become inevitable because of the prevalent precarious working conditions our members are enduring in the sector. The refusal of the employers to recognize and respect the constitutional right of workers to freely associate with the union, as well as the unjust sack of 3 members of the union, is stated in its 7-day strike notice. The Union Secretary General Okonu Abdullahi said the association's 800 workers play a significant role in managing critical infrastructure like base stations for infrastructure companies, adding that the implications of this strike will be massive to members not to respond to any service outage from the employers, while the fact remains that there are outages every day, and if the engineers do not respond to the outages, subscribers in those areas will be affected. He also said members of the union include field maintenance engineers, transmission engineers, customer service engineers, fiber engineers, and other critical staff working for telecom service companies. And the development is coming after the telecom union had in April embarked on a similar strike over a similar situation, which was resolved through a reconciliatory meeting convened by the Ministry of Labour between the union and the telecom servicing companies. Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security has expressed commitment to improving the poultry industry. According to a statement, the Director of Animal Husbandry Services at the Ministry, Winnie Lai Solarin, stated this at a recent meeting with stakeholders in the industry's value chain in Lagos, while representatives from government agencies, private sector players, and development partners gathered at the meeting. She remarked that the Ministry has agreed to collaborate with stakeholders in knowledge sharing and collective problem solving to drive poultry sector growth and development, adding the federal government was prioritizing efforts to overcome the poultry sector's hurdles. The registrar of the Nigerian Institute of Animal Science, Professor Udo Herbert, said there were gaps in the poultry value chain that needed to be bridged through a joint effort of stakeholders from across the sector. The Chief Executive Officer of AFO's Nigeria, Ingo, Juliet Adekoya, urged relevant stakeholders to engage in collaborative partnerships that would drive innovation and unlock the poultry sector's potential, while participants resolved to collaborate on value chain development, policy advocacy, access to inclusive finance, as well as capacity building and fostering public-private partnerships. Nigeria's pharmaceutical sector has seen high duties and other areas weigh heavily on the operations as it awaits the implementation of President Bola Tinubu's executive order, whose implementation is facing delays since it was signed over 2 months ago. The devaluation of the naira, coupled with high import duties, has significantly increased the cost of procuring essential medical supplies. Pharmaceutical companies heavily reliant on imported materials say they are grappling with inflated product costs, which have driven up the price of medicines across the country. In June 2024, President Bola Tinubu signed an executive order aimed at eliminating tariffs, excise duties, and value-added tax on specified machinery, equipment, and raw materials of pharmaceuticals. The goal was to stimulate local production of essential healthcare products like syringes, biological and medical textiles, thereby reducing production costs and making medicines more affordable. However, findings show that the pharmaceutical industry is yet to benefit from the order because the takeout is still awaiting an implementation framework. According to NAFDAC, Nigeria relies heavily on imported drugs, with approximately 70% of drug consumption and 100% of APIs being imported. The implementation of the executive order is highly anticipated as it will not only serve as relief for the industry players but will consequently impact on affordability of medicines for all Nigerians. Since the exit of some pharmaceutical firms such as GlaxoSmithKline and Sanofi, the prices of medicines have shot up and have been out of reach for many indigent Nigerians. You're still watching ATM Business on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break.